What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today I'm making an updated tier list for the Team Up through Vivid Voltage standard format. There have been a ton of online tournaments with this format played, so we've seen a lot of decks, a lot of exploration, a ton of results. So I think I have a pretty good grasp on my view of this standard format right now. And the way I want to base this tier list is if somebody coming back into the game or somebody new to the Pokemon TCG asked, what are the best decks right now? What would I tell them? What are like the 3 or 4 decks that I would say, well, these are the very best decks. These are competitively playable, but they're not like at the very top. Like you could do well with them, but they're not the most expected. These are like playable, but I wouldn't really suggest them. And then we're going down into like the D and E and F tier from there. So that's how I'm going to try to form my opinions here for this standard tier list. Before we get into it, though, shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes, and be sure to use code CELIO for 5% off. Now, let's start with the top tier, A tier. So these are the decks that I think are the very best in the format right now. ADP Zacian, we're going to put up there. ADP Zacian can just pretty much beat anything that comes its way. Alter Creation GX is the broken attack that we have in format right now. We've never seen anything like it. And Zacian is just the best card, possibly that the best card they've printed in a long time. Probably the best card that's in the Sword and Shield sets. The only reason I wouldn't say the best card in Standard is because Altered Creation GX is on ADP, so that probably makes ADP the best card in Standard. But Zacian is just an incredible card. Altered Creation GX is the most broken GX attack, and then you pair those two together. So ADP Zacian definitely in the top decks, and then Eternatus VMAX I think is one of the best decks in format as well. Eternatus VMAX is just another card like that they gave so much to, just like Zacian. 340 HP. Its ability lets you have 8 dark Pokemon on your bench, and then the attack does 270 for 2 energy. Eternatus VMAX is just a really strong card with a very strong deck built around it. There are 2 variants. There's Poison Eternatus and Straight Eternatus. I think they're both very good. And then the other one I would put up in the very tip top would be Pikarom. Again, very strong card with an archetype built around it. Pikarom was the first like breakout tag team Pokemon card back in Team Up, and it has stood the test of time. It is still really strong, and it has all the results to show for it. I believe it's the deck that has won the most tournaments in Play Limitless online tournaments so far for Vivid Voltage Standard. And although the power creep of HP has really gone up, some of the damage output's gone up, Pikarom is still insanely strong. So and it's also very consistent. Pikarom's kind of the one out of these 3 decks where it gets by being moderately strong all the time, whereas ADP Zacian and Eternatus VMAX are just like overwhelming. So I think these 3 are the 3 best decks in the format right now. From there, I think that's how I'm going to leave A tier. Going into B tier, we got Luke Metal Zacian, another Zacian deck, and Luke Metal is another tag team. Very good tag team GX attack, but nothing like Alter Creation. It's very good, but not broken. And then Zacian, of course, is a super strong card, like I said, and a deck with Zacian as an attacker is typically going to be good. You probably could play straight Zacian. I've heard of a little bit of success with straight Zacian, but these 2 are typically what you're going to be doing with Zacian V. Luke Metal has a really good matchup versus VMAX based decks like Eternatus, Inteleon, Colossal. But then it's like kind of 50-50-ish or worse versus other big basic decks most of the time, and then versus fire decks, of course, you're going to run into issues. So Luke Metal is in the B tier here, and I kind of want you guys, when you're watching this, to like forget what you know about tier lists. Like tier 1 doesn't, like, being in tier 2 doesn't mean it's like margin, like that much worse than a tier 1 deck. I just have it A, B, C, D, E, F. This is just how I have them in my mind. I'm just depicting to you guys how the tier list looks in my head right now. And this is that's what I'm showing you. So in my head right now, Luke Metal is under these guys. But that could also be just because of how the meta is forming. Luke Metal could come back. I know Luke Metal has been doing really well, like the past 3 or 4 days or something like that in tournaments, and we have online tournaments every day now, so like the meta shifts back and forth, so do keep that in mind. Next we've got Centiskorch. These are in no order as of right now. Centiskorch, another VMAX that's really strong and overpowering. It is a welder deck, so it does have some consistency issues that I don't feel like Eternatus shares with it. But on the other hand, it can deal with things that Eternatus cannot, like Luke Metal. It also has type advantage versus Zacian. So Centiskorch, really strong deck, but I do think it's just a little bit under these 3. Next, I would put Lightning Mewtwo here. So Lightning Mewtwo was an archetype that was created by Torrid Reklev and Pedro Torres. I've been playing it a bunch myself, and I think that this archetype is really, really versatile. But it doesn't have the accomplishments and the repeated success that straight Pikarom has, but I do think there are advantages to playing Lightning Mewtwo, but I also think it's much harder to play, which could be a reason why it doesn't have as much success as regular Pikarom. I do think it's a really, really great deck, and it's my favorite to play right now. But I think it's just slightly under the power level of these overall, but all these decks in the top 2 tiers are definitely, like, these are winning tournaments. There's nothing wrong with any of these decks. I just see these 3 as having a bit of an edge. Next, what else did I want to put in B tier? Let's just scan the cards. Baby Blacephalon. Blacephalon, I think I do want to put up here with these decks. This might be like the very last one. We could put it right here. Maybe give it its own tier of its own just to separate it, because I'm not sure if I think as highly of Blounds as I do. Yeah, you know what? I really don't, because Eternatus can play Stamp Plant or Stamp Swell. Pikarom has Vikavolt to take care of Blounds. Lightning Mewtwo has Vikavolt to take care of Blounds. The Luke Metals can play Coding Metal Energy Tapu Fini, which which some recent successful lists have. ADP is like, I think 50-50-ish from what I've seen in actual results. Centiskorch, it's favored against, but you can lose to it if they're playing Zigzagoon. Your Volcanions can one-shot with the help of Zigzagoon, and then of course they're playing Stamps themselves. Yeah, I think I'll put Blounds down here. I was going to put it in B, but I think I'll put it down in C. Colossal VMAX, I think, is a C tier deck, or whatever we're calling C tier. I think it's one below these decks, basically. Because Colossal does have a good Eternatus matchup, good Pikarom matchup, 50-50 to slightly unfavored Lightning Mewtwo matchup based on how you build your Colossal, unfavored Senti, unwinnable Lucametal matchup, pretty good Blounds matchup. If you're playing the Snorlax build, like the original one I put on my channel when Vivid Voltage came out, then it's really, really good versus ADP typically, unless they're playing Zamazenta. So like, you'll notice that Colossal has like a lot of ifs, ands, or buts about it when I'm talking about these matchups. So it is a good deck, it has a good typing, but it doesn't come without issues, so I'm putting it down here. Decidueye, I'll put this here for Decidueye, straight Decidueye and Decidueye Goons. I think it is really strong if nobody's teching for it, but people are probably going to start teching for it because it's won a couple tournaments like in the past week. So really strong deck when not teched for Decidueye or Decidueye Goons, whichever one you want to play, but it can be teched for, so keep that in mind. Excuse me. I put Trevenant Dusknoir in here twice, so it's just supposed to be this Mewtwo with Trevenant in it for Psychic Mewtwo, so disregard that. Let's see what else is going in this tier with Blounds and Colossal. I think Mewtwo Welder does. I don't think this is as good as Lightning Mewtwo, but it is definitely being played to some results. We'll put that down here. Colossal might actually want to go down here into D. Just because the Eternatus and Pikarom are so high, I think Colossal gets boosted by their relevance. Yeah, some of these cards in here I think are in here like doubles. Let's see what else. Whimsicott I know I'm going to put in D tier, but we'll talk about that in a second. Control we're going to put up here. And I'll talk about that. I just want to see if I'm missing anything else that I want to see. We'll put both controls next to each other. Yeah, that's it for this tier. Okay, so yeah, control, whichever control you're playing, if it's Excadrill control or bird control, whatever it is, they're both really strong in the hands of the right players. If you saw the Europe versus North America, the 7v7, Pedro Torres streamed the Europe side, I believe, and Franco Takahashi streamed the America side of it. And you can see the Limitless guys or the Europe team play Excadrill control, and you can see how good that deck is when played by really good players. And then I also know bird control or just typical control has been doing okay in some online events, so I do think it's a strong deck. Its natural struggle is with ADP Zacian, and I believe sometimes with Pikarom, sometimes with Centiskorch, decks with a lot of energy like that, but has a lot of potential and really good when piloted by players who know the deck very well. So that's going to be the end of that tier for me. Next, we'll go into D tier. So Whimsicott is completely shut down by Vikavolt, and Pikarom and Lightning Mewtwo both have Vikavolt in them. Now that's not the only reason. If that was the only reason, I would put it up here, but or possibly even in B, if like the only thing it lost to was a Vikavolt. But the deck can just lose to needing to get a lot of items. It could lose to Marnie, it could lose to Reset Stamp, just like a lot of decks can. But so ADP is an issue for it because obviously the Alter Creation. Pikarom is an issue for it because it plays Vikavolt and you can just overwhelm them with a quick Tag Bolt. Lightning Mewtwo, same thing, Vikavolt or overwhelm them with a quick Tag Bolt. Centiskorch can trade a little bit with Volcanions, but I'm not sure how long you can actually keep that up. So Whimsicott's probably fine versus Centiskorch, probably fine versus Eternatus. Luke Metal, I'm not sure because of the tanking and healing capabilities it has, but you're probably fine, like 50-50 at the worst versus it. I think you'd be good versus Desi and Blounds. Welder Mewtwo, I think, yeah, you just win that. Colossal, I'm not sure because of the tanking and the healing and stuff like that, and then control I'm also not sure, but Whimsicott I think is like decent. It's decent, but with how popular Pikarom has been, and Lightning Mewtwo also being a Vikavolt, a deck that includes Vikavolt, and then ADP being like, if Pikarom's not the most popular, then ADP is, and I think you're just losing to both of these. So losing to the two most popular decks and another really good deck, and then like not even having guaranteed wins across the board versus some other good decks, makes me put Whimsicott down here. It's a playable deck. It can get placements, but I think now that people understand that Vikavolt just destroys it, that kind of changes things for the deck. I'm gonna put Psychic Mewtwo and Water Mewtwo in here as well. That's why that Trevenant and Frostmoth were here. I edited these pictures and I guess I put them in accidentally, as well as the Mewtwo's with them on there. But so the Psychic Mewtwo has seen a bit of a comeback recently. It placed in a couple online events, and Wet Mewtwo just has people that like to play it sometimes. So they're both solid. I wouldn't play either of them over Lightning Mewtwo at the moment, and I also wouldn't play Welder Mewtwo over Lightning Mewtwo at the moment, but that could just be my personal preference. I don't like Welder decks, and I also love Lightning Mewtwo. I don't like Wet Mewtwo, I never have. I do like Psychic Mewtwo, but I just think Lightning Mewtwo is better. We're also going to put Inteleon down here and Galarian Darmanitan down here. I think it's kind of like decided that these two are the same deck. You just throw a couple Galarian, you just throw like a 2-1 Darmanitan line into Inteleon. But actually, if we're looking at Darmanitan as its own deck, I'm going to put it down here. We're going to put that down here as well. This is Mad Party. Japanese Galarian Mr. Mime for my tier list. Don't know why. We'll put Mad Party here, I guess. Spirit Tomb down here. I'm putting Donphan up here because I actually do like Donphan. I'm probably the only one, but I do think Donphan's solid. We'll put Flygon here. Dragapult up here for sure. Basically, this is like, I don't think the deck is good. Like, don't play it. B-Box B-Box I think has potential, but it's probably just a fun deck. It has its natural flaws. Straight Vigavolt, no. Eggrowl Box, I think Eggrowl Box has potential as well. I'm going to put that up here. Orbeetle has just not proven itself at all. I don't think it can hold up in standard, so I'm putting that down here. And I think that's my current thoughts on the standard format. Is there a reason to play? Oh no, Lapras is weak to lightning. Get that out of here. We don't play Lapras. Like, Inteleon's fine because you either play it with weakness guard energy, which Inteleon doesn't mind having, or you play some Darmanitans and you actually beat the lightning deck sometimes with it. So Inteleon's a different story, but Lapras, get that out of here. I don't think you can play that. Flygon, do I put Flygon on the same as these? We'll put B into like meme category, I guess. Straight Vika into meme. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, so I think Eggrow's solid. I talked about this before, but Zarude V is good. It's not like insane compared to today's power level, but Eggrow is a good card to just get your evolution up, and then Tropical Hour GX is a scary GX attack to threaten. I think Donphan just replaces the attacking Excadrill, so I don't have attacking Excadrill on here, and I do play a fair bit with Donphan. Like, it is a deck that I've actually tested. I do think it has some sort of potential. And Inteleon is solid. I've actually like O and X versus Inteleons while piloting Lightning Mewtwo in tournaments. I don't know why, I just cannot beat Inteleon. Yeah, okay, so that's my tier list for team up through Vivid Voltage standard format right now, as of December 13th. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know where we disagree on the tier list. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And check out PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes. Use code Celio for 5% off. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I think we're about to hit 5,000 views. Maybe we... 5,000... Yeah, this video is about to hit 5,000 views while I'm recording it. I think we're about to hit 5,000 subs. So that's sick. Thank you all so much. If we hit 5,000 subs by the time this video's up, thank you. Yeah, have a great day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.